The Jordan 13 was the last shoe that Michael Jordan wore as a member of the Chicago Bulls for a full entire season. Now, because of that, some people consider the Jordan 13 to be the end of an era. Personally, I include the Jordan 14s because he did wear the Jordan 14s in his very final game against the Utah Jazz in the NBA Finals. He wasn't supposed to, but he did it anyway, so I include the Jordan 14s as part of that era, and I know a lot of other people do as well. Now, regardless of all that, the Jordan 13 has always been known to be one of the more comfortable and well-performing shoes from that generation, and we recently saw the Jordan 13 Black Flint. Really like that shoe, I've worn it a bunch of times, and I'm glad we're gonna see another iteration of the Jordan 13. Air Jordan 13 Wolf Grey. Wolf Grey has been used like a million times on Nike and Jordan brand shoes. So you've seen it on the Air Force Ones, the Air Trainer Ones, the Jordan Ones, just pretty much everything at this point. So it's a very standard colorway, and I think the gray is just very versatile. You can wear it with so many things, blends in, love it. Now the official shade of red on this shoe is True Red, and I love how they've applied the True Red to the tongue, to the insole, to the outsole. So when you're walking, you can kind of see the red pop through. Really love how that looks, as well as the red Jordan at the bottom of the eyelets. Whew, that little subtle detail, I just really love it. And the upper sole of this shoe is a mix of leather and suede. So the leather on the shoe, it is tumbled leather, pretty standard for a Jordan 13. And what I like about the tumbled leather on the mid panel is that it doesn't look super artificial. So sometimes they'll just go overboard with the tumbled leather texture, like on the Jordan 3 Unites, and then it just kind of looks weird. On this shoe, at least on the mid panel, when you touch it, when you see the grain of the leather, it looks and feels very natural. On the toe box, however, you don't see that tumbled leather texture as clearly, or it's not as obvious. And going up the tongue, there's plenty of ventilation on the tongue itself, leading all the way up to the red Jumpman on the tip of the tongue, and you see that same tumbled leather texture on the tongue. And the suede on the shoe, the grey suede, definitely feels like synthetic suede, so it's definitely not the best. Don't love that. However, I do have to say, as far as synthetic suede goes, it does feel pretty nice. So the Jordan 13, if you didn't know, was inspired by Panther, and that was also inspired by Michael Jordan's nickname, Black Cat, one of his many nicknames. So you see the dimples on the upper sole is supposed to resemble a panther's whiskers, and on the outsole, that pattern is supposed to resemble a panther's paw. What's always been very unique to me are the little dimples that you see on the front as well as the booty of the shoe. Again, drawing inspiration from a panther's paw. And finally, the hologram, the very famous Jordan 13 hologram that you see on the heel. That is supposed to resemble the glow or the eyes of a panther. Really cool details. Once you know the origin story, you kind of can't unsee it. It just becomes very obvious. Love it. And going back to the outsole, I love the outsole of the Jordan 13. It is a rubber outsole with herringbone traction, and then you also see the carbon fiber shank plate right in the midfoot. And the carbon fiber is a very durable material, and it's very solid. So it just offers great support in the midfoot area. And then another, not quite a hologram, but a very similar idea of the Jordan Jumpman. It's probably top 2 or 3 outsoles out of all Jordans. I just love the creativity, I love the shape, I love the materials, love it all. Now the Jordan 13 also has a Phylon midsole. So Phylon is essentially Nike's proprietary EVA foam. So it's supposed to provide better cushioning, more responsiveness, and it's more lightweight than a rubber or polyurethane midsole. Now the Jordan 13 also has a Zoom Air unit both on the forefoot as well as the heel. So the technology and the performance of the Jordan 13, I think it still really holds up. One thing I do have to point out for the Jordan 13s, it does have a pretty squeaky tongue because of the leather makeup, because of how the shoe is shaped. You can feel and hear the tongue quite a bit. You kind of get used to it after wearing it for a while. Sometimes it goes away, but like the Jordan 13 Black Flints that I have, really like that shoe, but it's just very squeaky. I'm gonna try and like make that noise in the microphone and see if it comes through. So if you hear that, that's basically what it will sound like when you're walking. So definitely keep that in mind. Now moving on to the inside of the shoe. The insole of the shoe is a white insole with a red Jumpman to match the tongue. And the padding around the ankle collar, around the tongue, inside the shoe, top notch. Super comfortable Jordan shoe. There's nothing I would change inside this shoe. It just fits my feet perfectly. I will have more to say about size and comfort later, but just a little preview. It's great. This shoe doesn't come with any extra laces, and while I usually complain about not having extra laces, I honestly can't think of another color that I would replace the default white ones with. I think the cleanness of the white laces with the rest of the shoe, it fits really, really well. Box of the shoe, very standard Jordan box. Now moving on to size and comfort, I'm a size 9.5 true to size. I do have wide feet, but for Jordan 13s, I usually stick true to size. And the Jordan 13 is pretty famous for being one of the more comfortable Jordan shoes, at least from 1 to 14, and it definitely holds up to its reputation. The padding inside is just so well done. Jordan 13, despite maybe the chunkiness or bulkiness of the silhouette, it's still a very lightweight shoe, and even as a wide footer, I don't feel like anywhere on the shoe where it fits too snug or too tight on my feet. It's pretty much perfect. It just wraps around your feet. Love it. And then not to mention the combination of a Phylon midsole compared to like a rubber midsole definitely has weight savings as well as better cushioning. So even if you have wide feet, I do recommend staying true to size for Jordan 13. That brings the total sole score to 17 out of 25. Right around the average, slightly higher than average compared to all the other general release shoes that I've reviewed. Colorway wise, I think this is super nice and clean, simple colorway. The Wolf Grey goes with just about everything, so I love how that looks on this shoe. And then the hints of true red on the Jumpman as well as the outsole, you can see it come through. Not too much, it's like subtly hidden unless you look directly at the outsole. And then the true red also on the Jordan tag at the bottom of the eyelets. I really love those hints of true red. I love the colorway of this shoe. Super clean, super simple. Material wise, despite what feels like synthetic suede on the gray parts of the shoe, I really like the leather on the mid panel. It feels nice, feels super soft, and you can see the grain of the leather. And not to mention the Phylon midsole, so it's lighter, as well as the carbon fiber shank plate. Really like the materials on the shoe. Now comfort wise, like I alluded to earlier, the Jordan 13 is one of the more comfortable Jordan shoes ever, and I still think it holds up. Super well padded inside the shoe, and it just can wear these all day. Really, really like the comfort of the Jordan 13s. The cushioning is decent, there's like separation from you and the ground, and you can feel the Zoom Air units. However, it's not like super, super soft where your feet just kind of feels like it's sinking in. I love the comfort of the Jordan 13 Wolf Grey. Versatility wise, the Jordan 13 silhouette, I have to admit, it's not the most versatile silhouette. It does look very much like an athletic shoe or like a basketball shoe, so if you're not wearing it to play ball, it might feel a little weird just wearing it casually. Obviously, if you're a sneakerhead, you don't mind that. However, just speaking generally, definitely not the most versatile silhouette. Colorway wise, the versatility of this colorway is very, very hard to beat. Majority white shoe with hints of gray and even smaller hints of true red to really make the shoe pop. Super versatile. Storytelling wise, there's not much to it. It's just a general release, not a story behind the shoe. It was the 25th anniversary of the Jordan 13 last year, and honestly, I can't believe it's been that long. Despite all that time that's passed, I still think the Jordan 13, in terms of comfort, in terms of performance, in terms of how it looks, still really holds up. So that's it. Thanks for watching. Sole Inclined. Let me know what you think of the Jordan 13 Wolf Grey. Like, subscribe, comment, all the good stuff. And remember, tomorrow may never come, so wear your shoes